Hello, everyone. So glad you're here. Welcome, everyone. Well, tonight we have three really interesting intentions to send out into the quantum field. I'm really glad you're here to help me with this. Our tradition is to begin by breathing together. And we use the Heart Math Institute's quick coherence technique. So, whether you're watching this live with me tonight or whether you're watching the replay, thank you so much for subscribing and for lending your power to these meditations. Breathing in through the heart for a count of 4 or 5 or 6. A very relaxed exhale. 5, 6, 7, slightly longer exhale. Breathing in through the heart with gratitude. Exhaling. Consciously connecting with every in and out breath. Joining your energy to the group. Exhaling. Arriving in the moment. Allowing your body to relax. Finding it very peaceful inside your body and your mind. Knowing that this hour is for us to connect, to relax, to be of service, using subtle activism to help each other and ourselves. Thank you. We are now connected. Hello, everyone. Welcome, Diane and Irma and Gina. Very glad you're here. Okay, let's dive in. We now intend that the Odessa Opera House is immediately, completely, and permanently protected from damage and restored to its pristine magnificence as a UNESCO World Heritage Site for the enjoyment of all humanity. Allow this intention to drop into your heart chakra and project it out into the quantum field and follow the energy. Thank you, everyone. Trust this intention and release it with love. Hey, everyone. Sorry about that. Not sure why that failed, but let's move on to our second intention. We now intend that award-winning artist Stacey Krogstad immediately experiences a permanent upgrade to her skills as a painter, allowing her to translate her inner visions to compelling images that inspire and successfully transmit beneficial spiritual energy to all who see them. Allow this intention to drop into your heart chakra, project it out into the quantum field, and follow the energy. Thank you, everyone. Trust that intention and release it with love. Let's move on to our final intention for tonight, and this one's for all of us. Together, we now intend to honor and appreciate our physical bodies, their brilliance and mystery, moving forward in life, healthy and well in every way. Allow this intention to drop into your heart chakra, project it out into the quantum field, and follow the energy. Thank you, everyone. Trust this intention and release it with love. Sorry for the distractions with the StreamYard. The internet is fine, but StreamYard is not cooperating. Well, so tonight we intended for the Opera House in Odessa, Ukraine, and we intended for an artist, Stacey Krogstad. Hi, Vivian. Welcome. And then we intended for our relationship with our physical bodies. And yes, thank you, Diane. My screen is frozen, but you can hear me. That's good. That's good. It's a start. So let me see. Let me take myself from the screen and put myself. Nope. Nope. Okay. All right. Well, at least I'm not frozen on the screen with a weird look on my face. All right. So, if any of you would like to share your impressions from the 3 meditations, would love to hear if you're able to connect with the energy and if you received any. Oh, thank you, Stacey. I'm so glad you're here. So beautiful and powerful. You're very, very welcome. Really, really glad that you were able to join us. And since Stacey's here with us right now, I know she's in a different time zone. So I'll just mention that when I dropped into the intention, it was so interesting because I saw Stacey sort of carve her own path forward with her art, and the whole point was the energy and the vibration and the frequency behind the images that was really being transmitted to her audience. And I deliberately wrote the intention that way so that the power of the images would be foremost. And I really felt her growing and maturing into a style that is all her own. It was really wonderful to eh, connect with that. Well, thank you. Yes. Okay. Well, let's come here. Diane says, for the first intention, I saw kids running to the opera house playfully. I feel like it will be okay for next generations to come. Yes, I do too. That's wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, and for the opera house, I I have been intending and meditating on that opera house since the war in Ukraine began. And there are a lot of ways to intend for peace and intend for the end of conflict. I chose the opera house because, first of all, I would love to go see it someday safely. And it's been there since the late 1800s, and just the enduring spirit of the Ukrainians protecting that opera house seemed like something that we could do. And I really wanted to add that. And I felt a sense of loneliness on behalf of Ukraine. I know that most Americans that I know would love to keep supporting Ukraine in protecting their country, but we're not I guess we are in a different era now. So I am continually praying for Ukraine and for the opera house. Let's see what Irma says. Odessa immediately saw the house filled with powerful music. People were giddy with anticipation. Yes, very, very hopeful. I love that. And for Stacey, she saw that the key was being fully present, so images and inspiration could be transmitted to her and she could fully enjoy the process. That's so important. Thank you, Irma. Very powerful. And for Diane, this is for, I'm assuming this is for for Stacey. She heard music. It sounds like classical music, but lighter and more joyful. Yeah, what do they call that? Synesthesia, when you look at images and you hear music. Very interesting. Thank you. Yeah. And for the third intention, Diane just dropped into her body and felt very grounded. Yes. You know, these are our only home while we're here on planet Earth. And it's easy to ignore it because it just supports us and takes us where we want to go generally without complaint. And it's good to stop and touch in with the gift that is our body. Well, thank you so much, everyone. I'm alone in the studio today, so I don't have anyone else to chat with, but I do appreciate all of your intentions, your support for this subtle activism. And thanks for hanging in there through the StreamYard issues. My internet is great. All my everything worked during the rehearsal, so I've given StreamYard a fair shake. I'm going to look for an alternative platform so we don't have this in future. All right. Well, it's time to disentangle, and our tradition is to reverse the process. We'll breathe together, hands over hearts, and breathing through the heart, inhaling for a count of 4, 5, and 6, exhaling for 5, 6, 7. And as you signal your nervous system that it's time to relax and disconnect, you might feel a sense of being more present in your physical space. You might, it's somewhat like that feeling when you hang up the phone. You're still thinking about the conversation, but you're no longer connected to whoever you were speaking with. That is how disentangling feels for me. I know that we're still connected electronically, but energetically, we have disentangled our energy. We've let go of all the intentions. We don't have to carry them with us going forward. We've put them out into the quantum field, and they're on their way. And so it is. Breathing in, slightly longer exhale. If you found anything helpful, hopeful, healing, or inspiring in our conversation tonight or in the meditations, please take that with you into your week. And I will see you next Wednesday. Thank you, everyone.